There is a TikTok dance you must never try. Not because it's dangerous to your health, but because it can make you see the dead. And worse, make them see you. My name is Kemi Ajay, and I'm going to tell you how a group of young people in our city thought they were chasing views, but instead invited something into their lives they could never send away. And I know it's true, because I was there the night they started dancing, and the night it all ended. I have lived in Ilupeyu, Lagos, for most of my life. I work as a secretary in a law firm, and I live in a modest but beautiful duplex with my husband and 2 children. We are a quiet family, not the kind to chase trends or do wild things. That is why what I'm about to tell you is still hard for me to believe. It happened last year, during the long December holidays. My husband, Sola, had traveled to Abuja for a company conference, and I was at home with my children. My teenage niece, Adaora, was also staying with us for the break. Adaora is 19, bright and full of energy, but always on her phone. If she's not making Instagram reels, she's doing TikTok dances in front of my mirror. On the second day of her stay, I came back from work and found her in the living room with 3 of her friends, all girls, dressed in jeans and modest blouses, hair tied in colorful scarves. They had pushed the center table aside and were setting up a ring light. I asked them what they were doing, and Adaora laughed. "Auntie, don't worry. We're just filming a harmless dance for TikTok." They told me they wanted to recreate a village dance Adaora had seen in an old video clip her friend's grandmother recorded years ago in Enugu. The steps were unusual. The dancers in the clip were moving slowly at first, then jerking their heads sharply, stamping the ground in a rhythm that didn't match any modern beat. Adaora said it would make them stand out online. I told them to be careful. In our culture, some dances are not meant to be copied anyhow, especially if you don't know their meaning. I grew up hearing my own grandmother say, "There's no dance without a story." But Adaora just smiled and said, "Auntie, it's just fun. We'll finish in 20 minutes. That night, I heard them replaying the dance video over and over, stamping their feet so hard my chandelier rattled. Round 9:30 p.m., they finished filming. I thought that was the end of it. The next morning, Adaora was unusually quiet. Normally, she would wake up late, scrolling through her phone before breakfast. But this time, I found her already dressed in a long Ankara skirt and plain white top, sitting outside on the veranda, staring at the street. When I asked her what was wrong, she just said, "I had a strange dream." She described being in a wide, open clearing surrounded by taliroko trees. A line of masked dancers moved in a circle, their feet pounding the earth in the same steps she'd done the night before. In the middle of the circle, a fire burned, and someone, she couldn't see the face, was calling her name over and over. I told her to pray. She shrugged it off, saying it was probably because she watched the old video too much. By that evening, the TikTok video they posted had gone viral. Thousands of views, hundreds of comments. But when I glanced at her phone, the comments made me uneasy. "Where did you find this dance? My grandmother warned me never to do it. This is a joke. The death dance from my village should please take this down before something happens." 2 days later, Adora's friend Chinyere, one of the girls in the video, called in a panic. Her younger brother had seen the dance online and teased her about it. That night, he woke up screaming, saying he saw people dancing at the foot of his bed. He refused to sleep in their house again. Later that same day, while I was washing plates in the kitchen, I heard shuffling footsteps in the corridor, slow, dragging steps, followed by a faint thump, like a heavy stamp. I thought it was the children playing, but when I checked, the corridor was empty. That night, just as I was dozing off, I heard the sound again. Stamp, 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 coming from the living room. I woke Adaora, but she swore she hadn't heard anything. For days after the dance went online, something happened that I cannot explain logically. I came home from the office around 6 p.m., and as I was unlocking the front door, I heard music. From inside, not from a speaker, but as if it were floating in the air. It was a deep, rhythmic drumming, slow and steady, like a heartbeat. The moment I stepped in, the air turned cold. Adaora was in the middle of the living room, eyes closed, feet moving in those same stamping steps. Her 3 friends were standing around her, swaying. None of them looked at me. I shouted her name. She froze, opened her eyes, and collapsed. When she woke up, she said she didn't remember dancing. She thought she had just been sitting with her friends. That night, I didn't sleep. I prayed till morning. The next day, I took Adaora to my church pastor, Pastor Emmanuel. After listening quietly, he asked me to describe the dance moves. When I did, his face tightened. He said there are certain dances in Igbo and Yoruba traditions that are not for entertainment. Some are funeral dances used to escort the dead to the other side. If done by the living outside of the proper rites, they could invite spirits who mistake the dancers for the dead. He advised us to delete the video immediately and pray for cleansing. We tried. The girls deleted the video from their TikTok, but it was already reposted by hundreds of other accounts. It was out there forever. On the 5th night, at exactly 2:13 a.m., Adaora burst into my room, shaking. "Auntie, they're outside," she whispered. I followed her to the window. Across the street, under the orange glow of the street lamp, I saw them. At least 10 figures. Their faces hidden behind carved wooden masks, bodies wrapped in raffia skirts and white cloth. They moved in that same stamping rhythm, their feet never breaking the beat. Then, one by one, they turned their heads toward our window. I don't remember screaming, but I must have, because my neighbors came knocking. By the time we opened the door, the street was empty. The next morning, Adaora left for her parents' house in Enugu. Her friends stopped answering her calls. Till today, she refuses to talk about the dance. Sometimes, though, when I'm walking home from work in the quiet of the evening, I hear it again. Stamp, 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 somewhere far behind me. And I never, ever look back. So, if you ever see that dance on your For You page, don't like it, don't share it, and for your own sake, don't try it. Some views aren't worth the price you'll pay. If you want more true African tales like this, subscribe now, like this video, and share it with someone who thinks the supernatural isn't real. Because I promise, one day, they'll remember you warned them.